Hey, we're with Brian Bergstrom. He's the co-defensive coordinator here at South Dakota State University with the football team. Not only that, you've had two of your sons have played. One's kind of graduated on, but he's helping coach, and you got another son in the flag football program. And so I just thought I'd ask you three questions about our character quality of self-control. And so first, just describe what is self-control.
I think self-control is your ability to do what you know you should do, even though sometimes you don't want to. And I think one way I kind of look at it is it's kind of your long-term self and long-term perspective, protecting you from your short-term perspective of what you may want to do in the right now. It seems like a good idea, but if you really had some time to process it, you'd say, that's probably not a good idea. So having self-control would be to be able to make that decision.
Yeah, absolutely. The long-term effects of it.
Yeah.
How about that character quality of self-control? How valuable is it in the game of football, and why?
I think it's critical. One, because it's a critical, characteristic of just our guys in their life. And I think the most important lessons we can teach through the game of football is to help them in life. So their ability to manage emotions, manage short-term thinking, and think from a longer-term perspective is important in their life. But certainly in the game, football is an incredibly emotional game, as life can be incredibly emotional.
Right.
So to learn how to manage that emotion and to not snap when I shouldn't snap, to be able to process, to not shove the guy back when he shoves me, helps me certainly as an individual not to get a penalty, but it helps our team. And I think that's one of the biggest things is me having self-control as your teammate. That's going to help our team. And if you don't have that, that can be pretty dangerous.
Right. Because it ultimately becomes like in a team environment, lack of self-control can really become a selfish thing.
Right.
How about as a coach and a dad too? How do you instill or teach self-control to your players or to your own kids?
I think certainly the most powerful way to teach it is to model it. And more than anything that I were to say or try and teach a lesson in something, my kids or the players are going to know and see how I do it. And many times they're going to forget the things that I say, but they're going to remember what I did. They're going to remember how I made them feel. But I think that's the number one way. And I think you come across opportunities to teach the lesson after the fact as well. Right. So here's a situation, we handled it well. Let's talk about self-control. Let's teach that lesson right now and learn from it. And when we did it poorly, whether that's a coach, whether it's a player, whether it's an opponent, whether it's something in the news, current events, I mean, you can learn from all of them because you have a platform to impact the players or our own kids. And then lastly, I think as a coach and as a dad, you can strategically put our players or our kids in situations where we know that might be a challenge.
Right.
And we're going to do it to build you and to refine you and to give you an opportunity to practice it, maybe in a little bit more of a controlled setting. And that's really what we're doing every day in football is trying to teach those lessons in more of a controlled setting. So when you get to game day, hopefully you can live and play with self-control.
Yeah. I think about in the football program, Coach Stig talks a little bit about T to the third power, take time to think. And I think that when you see that played out in so many ways that, how is this going to affect me? Is this in the best long-term, if you kind of do the long math of the situation, is what I'm feeling about responding or is what I'm going to say the best thing to say in the moment or what I'm going to tweet or whatever, does that make sense? Take time to think. Well, I appreciate the time.
You bet.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Appreciate it. This week, flag football, one more week after this, but it sounds like it's going to be windy. So we're kind of where we're at on this side of the city for flag football. It usually gets the wind. So be ready for that on Sunday. It's going to be a fun day. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.